So that's what we're doing, apparently.
Me, you've just really pissed, didn't you? You have pissed on the whole segment. What's next then, Gal? What's next on the agenda?
Tune in next week and learn some more stuff.
What's going on? So we ended up having to get the staff at King's Cross Station to sit him down on a seat and then get a first aider in.
Oh.
What happened there?
Well, I've got balloons.
Right, it will make sense when I put it on.
If this doesn't stay in, I'm leaving.
Bulletproof vest.
What the?
Yeah, it's for his man boobs.
Oh, I tell you what. You know that my Jan's been in hospital.
Oh, Jesus!
She said that.
Sorry about that.
Well, hello and welcome to season 5. Season 5 years, guys. 5 years we've been doing this now. How mad is that? I saw you put a little thing on, Dave, before we started on your Facebook group, saying that it was just going to be like just a. What did you put? Like just a lockdown thing? And
no, I said it was a virus apocalypse diversion. That's how I
that's right. Yeah, and now look at us. We're just I don't know what we are. We're probably a virus in our own right.
Hurtling towards senility.
Yes, yeah. We're certainly that. I mean, we're all 5 years further down the line, aren't we? Which is quite scary.
I did pull you up on that, Dave. I don't know whether you saw, because you mentioned you were getting organised for the podcast. That's something you've never, ever done. So I wondered whether you turn over a new leaf this year.
Well, now, you say that, but I've got literally pages of notes.
Wow.
I've got studio lighting. I've got mood lighting. What more do you want?
Wow,
you've got notes. I've got sort of notes, but yeah.
I've got beer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I brought to.
We're the winners.
That's all we need.
Well, one of the things you mentioned was that we're doing the competition again this year, so I've got a page of rules to apply.
Oh yeah, yes. Well, okay. I will. Is that for us or for the people entering the competition?
That's for the competition entrance.
All right. Okay, just checking. Okay, so I was actually going to say that before we get started. A couple of things. So we've got a few. We're going to do a few different things this year, aren't we? We're sort of same old to an extent, but you know, it's been 5 years. We need to just freshen it up a little bit. So next week is the naked episode, which I'm looking forward to because I've replaced all of you with some female photographers.
I actually thought it was this episode, but yeah.
Just don't stand up, Sam.
No,
I'm not going to stand up.
This is just a naked from the waist down episode, Sam, if you remember. Yeah, next week is the full Monty. So no, we got a few things. We're going to have a few more sort of weekly things that we're going to do on a weekly basis, which is why they're weekly things. We're bringing back What Are You Drinking? Because, you know, it's supposed to be a pub. We're going to have a whinge of the week as well every week. So if you guys want to have a whinge with us, you know, you can put in the comments something you'd like to whinge about this week, because I know most of you are a bunch of whingers anyway.
Yeah, but there is a danger if we have a whinge of the week that we won't have any time for anything else.
Well, we'll have to put a time limit on which we can whinge about the week after. We can have it'd be time. I hate time limits. Really. What else have we got? We got a Room 101, which we're going to do. Well, we're going to do for 7 weeks and maybe might recycle it, where each week one of us is going to put something into Room 101 and we can discuss that. And this week it's Daz. We're not putting him in Room 101.
Could happen.
He's talking about, could do, because that's next week. Yeah.
If he's naked.
And then, yes, well, yes. Let me just get my own Room 101 sorted out.
And Willie of the week.
Willie of the week, yes. Yes, that's going to be a weekly one, which will run for should be 7, but it's probably going to be 6.5. And then we're going to have a watch of the week, which is sort of going to be like what have we been watching this week, but also not necessarily watching, listening to, or is there something that's caught our attention this week that we want to share with you guys? So we're going to do that. And then also, as Dave mentioned earlier, we're going to have a quiz. No, we're not going to. You didn't mention quiz. I'm going to talk about the quiz. We're going to have a competition. This is going well.
5 years practice you've had sharing this, Gary.
Yeah, I know, but I've been locked in a room for a few months and not been allowed out, so it's been difficult for me to do anything. We've got the competitions back this year, which we will talk about closer to the date. We're not going to open that up just yet. We're going to have a quiz. We're going to have a quiz this year, guys. We're going to have a quiz. Looking forward to that. See, everyone else is looking forward to that. I'm going to write the questions. You're going to love it. Maybe not. And we've got a few guests coming on as well. So, but that'll be in a few weeks' time. We've got sort of like a series of a few guests and maybe just one familiar face who'll be nice to see again. Anyway, that's all that bit out of the way.
Yeah, thanks for watching. And until next week.
Yeah. And one more thing. We all want to say a big thank you to John Rigby. Thank you very much, John. He has sponsored us for the last year, which means that he's basically paid for our platform, which is very, very much appreciated, John. So thank you very much for that. And totally coincidentally, that's running out. So if anyone else wants to sponsor us for the coming year, it'd be very much appreciated.
He's slick, isn't he? Mate, that was slick. I like that.
I know.
You're starting to sound like
good.
Gavin Hardcastle.
Yeah. Talk to me. I'll put my email address at the bottom. Talk to me, and we'll sort out sponsorship. But it would be very much appreciated because it does cost a little bit to come on this platform. Right. So let's get round to something. So first up, as we're in a pub, what are we drinking, guys? Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll go first because it's still morning here, so I'm pretty boring. I'm just drinking tea.
I was thinking the same thing, Dad.
And sparkling water.
Right, so next week then, Ed, you've got to go for something quite exotic, an exotic brand of coffee.
I'll put an umbrella in my can. How about that?
Perfect. I mean, the rest of us I think we need to have a week where we try and make ourselves sick by drinking so much. So, Adam, if you could find something that would do the same for you but won't get you intoxicated. So,
actually, I've been cutting down on my drink. I not to change the subject, but I've been trying to lose a bit of weight. So I've lost 20 pounds just by not drinking. So
well done.
Yeah. I mean, I still drink beer, but not to the extent that I was before. Wasn't getting out of hand, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Jamie? What are you drinking this week?
Well, obviously, as previous episodes will have said, that I'm an IPA drinker, so I've gone for 3 IPAs, different ones this week. Well, actually, you remember when IPA was first introduced, was it sort of Brewdog was the first company that came out. And I noticed on the shelf in Tesco's this week that you've got a small section of Brewdog and the rest of it is just full of I don't know, weird flavoured beers. It seems to have taken over, doesn't it? The youngsters have taken over the aisle. So I've gone for a Brewdog, but it's called a Wingman. It's my first one. So it's a Wingman Session beer. Then I've gone for a Girl from Mars IPA, which is Buxton Brewery. Normal flavour, no weird mango or pineapple or anything like that.
That one's going to be horrible. It'll just taste of ash.
Yeah, nice.
Sam's going to get that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sam. I knew someone would get that.
I get that one.
And then finishing with a Northern Monk Faith IPA. So 3 IPAs. All different ones. I've never had them before, so I'm going to give them a go.
Okay, and how's the first one?
Good, very good.
Wingman's
pretty good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Daz, what about you?
Well, before I tell you what I'm actually going to be drinking tonight, but like Adam, I've kind of really cut down on my alcohol consumption. I've been drinking a lot of these Heineken Zeros.
Oh.
And I must admit, I've been drinking these like every night after work because sometimes I don't really want a beer, but there's like a can of Coke's a bit sweet. And I bought these about 3 months ago. And I drink these every night now. But tonight, I thought I'd treat myself.
How many did you buy in one go?
There's
Truckload.
six. There's six in a packet, and yeah,
He'll have sent the butler out to order them from Fortnum and Mason's.
So, but tonight I'm treating myself to a Wainwright's. This is a really nice beer, so I know that I like this. But I've also got another beer coming a bit later on, which I think is a Pale Ale, and I'm not really a Pale Ale drinker. I'm only doing this for you, Gal. So it's.
You sent someone out for that one, have you? They're just not back yet.
That, so I'm yeah.
Okay. What about you, Sam? What are you drinking?
Well, I've got it's a Munich-style Helles lager from the Cromarty Brewing Company, which is a local brewery, which I hadn't actually heard of. We've got quite a few good breweries around here, actually. There's the Black Isle one is probably the biggest one. We've got one really local to us here in Strathcarron as well. But this is one which actually Hannah nicked from her work. And I've never tried it before. And it's actually really... I say she nicked it from her work. She nicked it with permission from her work. And
probably best to...
Yeah.
And it's
That's
really...
not actually nicking, is it, if she had permission?
It was free. So, yeah.
Sam's trying to backtrack now on what he was
I'm trying to desperately backtrack, but it's okay. I haven't said where she works, so it's fine.
Yeah. And where does she work?
I've got to say, though, that Strathcarron Brewery stuff that you had when I was there, it was really good stuff, that. I'd be right into that on a regular basis if I was in that neck of the woods.
It is. I might get some for next week, actually. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Stu? What are you drinking?
Nothing interesting, just coffee, because I've had about 4 hours sleep.
Fair enough.
But what I was going to say was I saw Jamie drinking IPAs there. I ran into Mark Littlejohn a couple of weeks ago, and we ended up on a lunchtime session, if you like. And Jesus Christ, that guy is an encyclopedia of beer and whiskey. He's like, oh my God, just you get him started with talking to one of it, because he took us round to one of these little craft breweries, and Jesus Christ, he wouldn't shut up. 10 minutes talking to the bartender about all these different bloody beers. Like, it's all just beer to me. But yeah, I could get it. I could get into those IPAs. To be fair, they were quite nice. The one he got me on, but no, nothing alcoholic tonight.
Do you, obviously you don't, but do you not find they're quite hoppy IPAs? That's what I can't drink them. I think they're very strong beers, strong tasting beers.
They are a bit.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't mind them now and again though.
Yeah, they're. Oh yeah, that was I struggled to find some on the shelf that were around the sort of 4 or 5%. They were all at 7 or 8%. So yeah, a couple of those, and that'd be me done. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Dave. Dave, what are you drinking, Dave?
Red wine.
Are you red wine? Any particular grape?
Yeah, Shiraz. But the thing is, I was looking at it before. It's this Jam Shed Shiraz, but I was looking at the ingredients. It's got egg and milk in it. I mean, how the hell does that work in a bottle of wine?
Well,
I'm going to have a word with the organizer.
I'm getting hints of egg.
Exactly.
It's a very milky. There's a very milky complexion. Well, I'm drinking Menabrea.
Oh yeah.
Don't know. Just found it in a local co-op. It's on a 2 for £6 offer. So, and I've also got another one that I don't know of, which is in the fridge, and then a Cruz Campo, which I'll be consuming later on as I get more and more pissed throughout the podcast. So good job. We're got Whinge of the Week early on this week, isn't it?
Can I just, before we move on to the next segment, I've got to ask Jamie, have you reshuffled your room again? Because your backdrop is completely different.
No, I do reshuffle often, but I haven't reshuffled since the last few episodes of the podcast in season 4.
Oh.
And the room?
And the room has stayed as it is. I've not moved any walls, done any building work, and I've still not got a fast broadband, if anybody's interested. But it's much better than Stu's, by the looks of it.
Yeah. No, Stu's still there. Stu's still there. Yeah. Yeah, I saw him laughing at one of my jokes a minute ago, so I know he's still in the room, which is good. So yeah. Okay, so that's what we're all drinking this week. And I'll tell you what I wanted to do really quickly before we move on. Just wanted to sort of put to bed the charity walk that we did, and say a really massive thank you to everyone who donated. We raised, in the end, just over £4,000.
Yeah, I've got the breakdown if you're interested, because I made a note of it. I've got a little notepad as well. I've made some notes. So yeah, it was £4,036 in total we raised. Yeah. Broken down, 1,029 for Disabled Photographers Society, £1,800 for Dementia UK, and £1,207 for the MS Society. So, yeah, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Again,
thank you ever so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. It's very much appreciated. We did work hard for that, I've got to say. There were plenty of blisters at the end of that walk, and other than Daz, we were all knackered, I think. Whereas Daz could have done it all the way around again.
I wouldn't go that far, but I thought we all finished quite strong. Apart from Jamie with his blister, which how you even got that far, mate, with that blister, I have no idea. But
finished strong. I think Gary literally just downed tools at the 25 miles and didn't want to go any further, and I had to pull him along, even with my blisters. I was saying, "No, come, we've got to get to the road, Gary. Come on, we've got to get to the road at least."
I would have stopped. And waited for the air ambulance to come and get me before that road, because it was I'd just had enough. And then the walk to the pub was another bloody mile nearly, which was excruciating.
Can I just have a little whinge? I know we're talking about the charity hike, but can I just have a little whinge? And it does kind of involve my three friends that I did the hike with. So this is just aimed at you three, right? So obviously them three went to the pub. I carried on walking another 2 miles past the pub to get to the car. I jumped in the shower, and then I went back to the pub to pick you guys up. And I thought to myself, oh, do you know what? I can't wait now to sit in the pub and have a beer. And as I got in, you guys, I don't know who bought the round, but one of you said, Daz, we got you a beer. And I thought, well done. And you bought me an alcohol-free beer after I'd done 28 miles. I couldn't believe it. And there's me going, oh, thank you very much, whoever bought that round. And I'm thinking,
were driving.
Oh, I know.
You were driving us back.
I know, but that was been my first beer of the day. And and it wasn't even nice alcohol. It was like Swan or something. Who's ever had a Swan alcohol beer? Yeah. So I have to say that's my whinge of the week.
To be honest, Daz, whether it's Swan or any other beer, it's a moot point. Yeah, sorry. So hang on though. Wait a minute. Did you say 28?
Yeah. By the time I got back,
you did say. Yeah, you did say 28 there, didn't you? So you are admitting that the route you got us was actually 28
let's
miles.
Skip
and
this. Let's skip this now. I can't listen to another hour of you debating this 25 mile route.
And wasn't there also a loop that you missed out as well that was about a mile long? So your 25 miles was actually 29 miles.
26. I had to do an extra 2 to get back to the B&B. The thanks that I got was an alcohol-free Swan lager.
Which brings us nicely round to whinge of the week. So has anybody got something they want to whinge about this week before I kick off?
I think you know the floor is yours, Gal, every week with this. So
yeah. Okay,
we're on the edge of our seats here.
Right, I want to whinge this week. This is what I want to whinge about this week, and this has been doing my nutting for pretty much the whole of the summer. Politics, right? And the need that some people feel to bang on about politics. And I don't care what your opinion is on politics. I don't care. There used to be a thing, didn't there? Do you remember? There used to be a thing that said, you don't talk about politics and don't talk about religion. Do you remember that? Back in the day, 2 things you don't talk about: politics and religion. And that's all gone out the window now. And it's like, I've deleted friends off of Facebook, yeah, because I'm sick and tired of reading their crappy political motivated posts. It's like, I don't want to know. Have an opinion. We've all got an opinion. I've got an opinion on politics. I'm sure you've all got an opinion on politics. I don't need to share my opinion on politics with the rest of my Facebook friends because they don't care. So that's my wins this week. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I had to, unfortunately, get rid of someone on Facebook. It was a really nice guy, but so political. I just thought, right, you've got to go, which was a real shame, actually. But every post was, about politics. And then, I went down the rabbit hole. I'd kind of click on his comments and everyone else was jumping in and I just thought, I can't do this. So sorry.
Yeah. And it's nothing to do with the colour of the party either. I don't care whether they're left or right or centre. Just I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And you telling me something, you spouting off about this, that, and the other, most of which is based on incorrect facts. I don't care. So if you've been my Facebook friend and you're no longer my Facebook friend, now you know why. And that's why. And that's it. And I also got rid of Twitter for a while, or X for a while over the summer because of those riots. And it was like every post was about the riots and someone like blaming someone else and making stuff up. And it's like, it used to be people had I'm trying to think of what the word is. Just sort of a bit of restraint. They used to sort of keep themselves to themselves and keep their opinions to themselves. But now it's just a bun fight. It's just a free for all on there. Oh, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, this and that. No, he did it. No, they did. Oh, just sick of it. Oh, just had enough. So that went for a while until that all died down, and now that's a cesspool anyway of just filth and death.
On that cheery note,
but it is, yeah.
Welcome to season 5.
That's our title for the episode. Then.
But no, I'm just so over all that, and it's really bugged me a lot. And there's another thing that I want to whinge about as well, actually. While we're on while we're on the subject, because I get this off my chest.
No, it's not we're on the subject; it's you're on the subject.
Okay, while I'm on the subject, I get this off my chest, right, and then I'm done, right? Okay, and then I'm done, and I'll talk about normal things for the rest of the night. Facebook, yeah. I was really lucky, right? I was really lucky to get on the pre-sale for Oasis tickets, right? And I got Oasis tickets, right? And I posted on my timeline something like, I don't know, I said maybe, an Oasis thing, so people would see. And at that point in time, I didn't realise they were going to be so hard to get, actually, because if I realised that there's going to be loads of my mates were gutted because they couldn't get them. And if I'd have realised at that point, sorry, Sam. If I realised at that point they were going to be so hard to get, I wouldn't have probably posted that on there. But I posted it on there, and someone who watches, by the way, hello, right? Put can't stand them twats, right? I'm like, why? Why did you post that? Why feel the need? Why do people feel the need to run someone else down because they got something they're happy about? I don't like the cheeky girls, but I wouldn't be pissed off if Jamie got tickets. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't slag them off. I'd say, well done, Jamie. I'm really happy for you.
I've got tickets for both of us, though. Are you coming?
I'm still in. Yeah, I'm still in. Just let me drink enough before we get going, so I won't remember it.
I guess the question should be though is why would you post on Facebook that you got tickets in the first place? Like, who cares?
Well, no, but my point is, my friends care.
Okay,
that's what Facebook's about.
Showing off.
I thought Facebook. No, do you know what? I never. Okay, so I don't consider that showing off. I consider that being happy and saying to my friends, "Oh, I was really lucky. I got Oasis tickets." I didn't. I'm not the type of guy who posts stuff to brag. Right, I was actually quite happy, and loads of my mates went, "Oh, well done! Oh, I'm really pleased for you." And we're hoping.
Yeah,
to get
but in the
tomorrow.
background they're going,
like,
bastard.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, but the point is that's in the background, isn't it? It's like, why come on? And it's like, why come on and say, it's like getting married. Oh, I got married today, and someone comes on and says, "Oh, I don't like your wife's dress very much." It's like, really? I mean, why can't you just be happy that someone's got someone's?
That would be a really harsh comment.
No, but why can't you just be happy that someone
but the
else
guy
is happy?
probably
you have to
poo-pooed the whole comment because he was just jealous that you got tickets and he didn't. So, rather than saying that, just say, "Oh, they're a bunch of twat. They're a couple of twats anyway." I mean,
I just think why be negative about it, and
because that's what the internet is all about, being negative.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's that may be a future room 101. I don't know. Anyway, that's me. I'm not going to moan anymore now. I'm going to be happy and jolly for the rest of the episode.
There might be a new comment on that thread, just for you to check later.
You haven't, have you? Dave bust. Oh, anyway, yeah, maybe it could be looked upon as me bragging, but I wasn't. I certainly wasn't. I was just happy. I was just really happy, and I just wanted to share it. Anyway,
it's not worth looking back in anger about, Gary.
Oh, blimey. Can I just confirm you were right? Girl on Mars does taste of ash. Not good.
Oh, is it Girl on Mars?
You've remembered that time.
It's Girl from Mars. Yeah, it's not good. I'll drink it because it's here, but it's not great. So not going to be one of my recommendations. That one.
No. Oh dear, not good. Okay. Oh God, do you remember that one we did a while ago when I got all that beer from that craft stuff? God, that was.
Is that when you went out to the pub afterwards and then you videoed yourself and sent it to our little group, and then the next night or the next day you was throwing up all night?
No, that was Brewdog. I had Brewdog, and then I went down the pub and had 3 pints of some lager. I'll tell you, my marriage nearly fell apart over that. You
were in the kennel,
so pissed off with me because I was so sick. Yeah, I did video myself. I remember that. Yeah, what was that? Was I singing? I think I was singing.
You was, yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel brave, you can overlay your little video that you sent us on the Pubcast.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I have that anymore.
Oh, I think I've got it somewhere.
It'll be in the group chat.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But it's got me no. I don't think that format I can put on the overlay it anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so that's Whinge of the Week over and done with, and less said about that, the better. Shall we move on to a topic? We asked for some questions last week, and we got some really good ones, actually. We didn't get loads, but the ones we got were really good. And this one's from Justin Crane. And he says, I just visited Auschwitz. Is it all right to view it through the camera viewfinder or smartphone? Should they be limited in places like this so people take it in? And we'll sort of broaden that out to, are there some things that you just shouldn't photograph? First of all, has anyone been to Auschwitz?
No, but I went to in France. Excuse my pronunciation. It's either Oradour or Oradour, and basically it was it's like a large village, we say, a small town, and it was in occupied France, and during the Second World War, and the Nazis got wind that there was some resistance possibly in the town, and Nazis being who they was, they went to the town and decided to actually kind of make basically destroy the whole town. They got all the men and they shot them, and then they took all the women and the children, put them in a church, and literally just set the church on fire. There was over 300 people that died, even people that were just visiting this little town from outside, who was just stopping for groceries or whatever they was doing. They got rounded up as well, and I think there was half a dozen people, I believe, that actually kind of survived this kind of massacre. Horrible event. And I was walking around it, and I had my camera, and I've seen pictures from it before, but almost like official pictures from their website, and and I'm quite interested. I didn't even think, when I look at them kind of pictures, But when I had my camera, and you saw like so I don't know if I explained, but they literally built a wall around this village, and they've kept it exactly as it was from that day. They've not done anything apart from perishable goods.
Right.
Everything stays as it is. So the cars that are burnt out, the church that's obviously kind of crumbled, where all the ladies and the kids died, and all the houses that got ransacked, and it's literally a memorial. It's as it is to this day. And I picked up my camera, and then I just lowered it, and I just thought, no, this is, because what I would have been doing, I would have been taking just almost like a holiday snap, and it just felt wrong to me. You know, I don't mind looking at photos of that place from a historical point of view, but I felt uncomfortable about taking a holiday snap in something that was just so devastating and so evil. So, I think for me, I think there's a time and a place to be taking photos, but that's just me.
Well, I've been to Auschwitz, and firstly, I would say that I think it's somewhere that they should make. It should be compulsory for school children of about 14 to go there, because once you hear and you see the horrors of that place, it kind of it gives you a whole new perspective on life and war and how we all are with each other. It's a really chilling place, especially I think there's three Auschwitz, if you like. It's like Auschwitz 1 and Auschwitz Birkenhausen or something. I can't quite remember now, but the first one is a very small compound, and that's where the museum is basically, and some of the gas chambers, and you get shown round by someone who is, or I don't know what it's like now, but this was, say, 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. You get shown round by someone who's a relative of someone who was at Auschwitz. So they've got a personal investment, to telling you, all of the truth about it. And the stories and everything's it's just really shocking. And it really sort of harrowing, but it really brings home to you, how just sick that sort of thing is, and it really makes you think. And I did take some photographs, in all honesty, but there's certain places that I just didn't photograph. So a lot of people were photographing inside the gas chambers. I couldn't do that. But a lot of my photographs were really to take pictures of the little info things saying what had happened. So I kind of remembered. I didn't sort of take any selfies or anything sort of like that. It was all sort of really more for sort of factual stuff rather than sort of snapshots, if you like. But it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think it depends what you're doing it for. I mean, I remember there was a hoo-ha about people taking selfies at Ground Zero and things like that. And I think if you're doing it for gain, like for personal gain somewhere, then that's totally wrong.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head there. View. I think if it's a selfie, it's absolutely wrong. It's utterly irrelevant. But some of the greatest images of all time have been hard-hitting reportage. So if you think about the Vietnamese napalm girl, 9/11, the cockpit of Pan Am Flight 103 outside Lockerbie, the guy in Tiananmen Square. For me, I think absolutely it's perfectly okay to take pictures if the reasoning behind it is to stay focused and reminded of what actually you're photographing. Because, you go and view something. And I mean, Justin's question specifically worded is it all right to see it through the camera viewfinder? And, this is the Photography Pubcast. We all see the world through a camera viewfinder. The question really is, what's your motive? If you're some imbecile with an iPhone and you're going to put it on your TikTok, somebody should ram the iPhone up your ass pretty quickly. But someone like Justin, and I've seen the photograph that he took, I thought was A, just purely a really good photograph, but B, kind of makes a point, and you know that somebody like Justin is photographing it from the standpoint of, I don't want to forget this. I want to be reminded of what this means. And the world should be reminded of what things like that mean, as with 9/11, Ground Zero. So my attitude to it is it's perfectly okay to take pictures when you're taking them from a personal standpoint of respect and understanding. I think when you're taking them from, oh, look at me somewhere, then at that point you've gone way across the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you're holding up your Oasis tickets at the same time. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But no, I totally agree with Dave. I mean, it's all about the context of which you're taking them in with. Actually, I watched a video not that long ago. It was about that very thing, and there was photographs of TikTokers and people doing silly things in Auschwitz. I thought, oh, that's really inappropriate. I mean, it just wasn't the place to do that kind of, moving their butts or whatever. I mean, it's just inappropriate. But they didn't seem to have any kind of self-awareness about that kind of stuff, which is just odd.
You think as well with them, maybe they hadn't been round there yet, but if they'd been round and they'd seen and heard of the atrocities that happened there, then, and they were still doing it then, I don't
know. I don't think that would. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's just, it's just inexplicable, isn't it? I mean, I think taking photos is one thing as well, and maybe this is really about the photos, but also like you shouldn't. For me, you certainly shouldn't be making videos from there for your own personal channel, and any sort of look at me going around this horrific site. I don't think that's a step too far. But I think taking photos, as long as they're
I wouldn't have a problem with people making video if it's entirely B-roll. I think the minute you're in front of the camera, unless you're explaining what it is from a kind of serious intellectual standpoint, if you're just going, oh, look at me, here I am, then yes, of course, that's completely out of order. But I think if you video it and you put that video out in the correct context with the correct thinking behind it, that the fact that they're moving images as opposed to stills isn't necessarily relevant, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the sort of vlog type of video.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if Justin had wandered about with himself in the vlog saying, "Here I am," I think that would be distasteful.
Yeah.
Well, I would 100% agree with everything Dave just said, and I think that for me it boils down to the fact that it's not the camera itself that's the issue; it's the intent behind it and what you're using it for. And a good example is the village which Daz was talking about when a few minutes ago. I've not been there, but I believe that's the same village which is at the start of the World at War series. They open it up with the first episode starts with that, and it's sort of a documentary sort of clip going through the village and telling the story of it. And that was so hard hitting, that bit of documentary. I remember I watched the World at War when I was relatively quite young, and that was really my first experience as an early teenager learning about that part of history, and just that kind of documentary way of showing it is so engaging and so hard hitting. But that's an example of how having a camera in these places can tell the story and get it out, and when it's done in that way as opposed to a TikTok video. And actually, I think these days YouTube is now the main media platform that most people get their news from. And I have actually seen videos on YouTube which people have done of Auschwitz, which have been done in a good way. And I do sometimes watch a few history channels on YouTube that do a really good job of telling history stories. So it's entirely down to how it is done, and the way in which it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll all agree.
I think you made a good point, though, Gary, that it should be compulsory. It should be on the curriculum. I think the problem is that the Gen Z and Gen Alpha and these Muppets like to take the piss out of us boomers, but they really don't know how the world works. And somebody should bloody teach them it properly instead of worrying about pronouns.
Yeah, I think actually I think kids get a bit of a some kids have done a bit of a disservice, because then I think that social media kind of skews what kids are really like, because I think that you've got one sort of persona for social media and maybe another persona which is the real person. You know, I know my daughters would you know, are very sort of sensitive to that sort of thing, and would really probably, you know, embrace learning about, you know, things like that. But yeah, I do think it's really important.
No, I've got nothing further to add than what's been said, and I agree with you know, Dave's point, particularly in the way that he put it across was you know, very accurate. I think that we live in a world where, you know, the Instagrammable piece is unfortunately something we've now come to have to put up with. It winds me up, and it could be a whinge of the week when you see some people out and about with their cameras, trying to do selfies, trying to show off where they are, and flicking their hair, and all that sort of stuff really winds me up. But fortunately, you know,
you've seen me trying to shoot a vlog, then.
I have, mate. Yeah. And I didn't want to mention one of them was you, but no. But I think it. You know, we as photographers and videographers, I guess we're here to tell a story. So as long as it's put across in a way that it's respectful, it's poignant, and it tells that story. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Sorry, just doing it. Sorry.
No, that's me done. But
The
anyway,
question
I
will
agree.
be if the back of Gary's head gets into the edit.
Oh no! Did it catch it? Oh, cut that bit out. Oh, I am going bald. It's not good. Yeah, no, sorry, Jamie.
No,
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean
I hadn't
to.
got a lot to offer on it. I was in agreement in essence to what was being said already. So
yeah. Okay. Stu, do you want to add anything? Great. Okay. Lovely. Works for me. I mean, that was a bit of a somber, sort of very sobering discussion. So let's move on to something that's going to be a bit more upbeat, shall we? Are we all good? Do we want a break, by the way?
No, I've still got half a
go.
day.
No? Okay. Well, let's move on to a bit more of an upbeat conversation then. Daz, what do you really hate? Room 101.
Can I just put some wood on the fire?
Oh, right. So I said you want a break, and you said no, and now you do.
I didn't know you was coming to me.
So we're going to move on now to Room 101, which Dave is going to succinctly explain to everyone. What is Room 101, Dave?
Okay, well, it's been hijacked by modern popular culture to be something completely watered down and flippant. But it's a concept invented by George Orwell in his dystopian novel 1984, whereby there was this room in the ministry building where people that were fallen foul of the regime were put in room 101, and that room forced them to face their worst fears. The protagonist in the novel, Winston Smith, was forced to face rats because that's the one thing that he feared the most. So popular culture has now got this thing where you can put inanimate objects in room 101. Makes no sense at all. It's utter shite. But it's kind of in the modern vernacular of, if there's something I don't like, I'll put it in room 101. So that's what we're doing, apparently.
Me, you've just really pissed, didn't you? You have pissed on the whole segment. What's next then, Gal? What's next on the agenda?
Tune in next week and learn some more stuff.
We're gonna carry on with it. Daz,
Right, so
what would you put in?
Okay, so let's
room 101,
put
Daz?
something in room 102. We'll call it room 102, so we don't take away from George Orwell's 1984, which I have kind of read actually, and it is a good book. And I've seen the film with John Hurt. It's very good.
Read it. I've lived it. Yeah. I mean, it was 40 years ago, but it was pretty shit if I remember.
Do you think so?
1984?
Oh, didn't get that one. Sorry, Gal. Sorry.
Good era.
Anyway.
Music-wise, good era.
You wouldn't know, Jamie.
No, you're right.
You wouldn't know. Probably all the stuff that you think is from 1984 is from about 1973.
Yeah, you got a point.
Do you know any songs from 1984?
Probably not. No. Yes, I do.
Do you want to guess?
No, I don't.
Do you want to
no. Go on, Daz. What's room in 102?
Guess
Right.
song.
So what's my annoyance then that I want to put in room 101A is well, it was going to be the island of Svalbard.
Oh,
now
okay.
So whether you probably know about Svalbard, I don't know if you do, but I know Dave watches it. There's a lady called Cecilia. She's got a YouTube channel, and all she does is document her life from Svalbard. Who said that? Because I did like that joke. That was quite good. So I know a little bit about the island because of her. So basically, it comes under Norway's jurisdiction, but it's closer to the North Pole than it actually is to Norway. And it was predominantly like an island. When it got populated, it was predominantly an island for mining. And I forget the name of the town that she lives in.
Longyearbyen.
Thank you. Anyway, in one of the episodes, she actually went to another little township that was originally owned by the Swedes for mining. They then sold it to the Russians. And even the Russians went, no, we ain't having none of this. And they left. And this little township now just sits there with like 10 people. But it doesn't get daylight. You know, we were talking earlier about, you were saying we're coming into like these darkness. It doesn't get no daylight there for 10 weeks of the year. And for me, that is so depressing. And where she lives, it appears to be, I've not watched every one of her videos, but it appears to be like the little township that she lives in is it looks like a long strip, almost like a high street. And that's classed as the safe zone. But even in the safe zone, you get polar bears. You can go to Svalbard as long as you have a job. You don't need a visa, you just get a job. But the first thing you have to do is learn how to fire a gun, because it's law to carry a gun because of the polar bears. They bought a cabin, right? They live in a cabin. I don't know why they bought another one, but they bought another cabin as a holiday home. During the summer, you have to get a boat around the island, and then it's a massive hike to what is a big garden shed. Or
hang on, they live in a cabin in this town, and they bought another cabin in this town as a holiday home.
They bought another cabin in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to word that one in, Gal. Sorry, but in the middle, they bought another cabin in the middle of nowhere. Right now,
that says demonetized, right?
They obviously don't visit this cabin very often, but when they went there, it had been broken into, not by vandals, but by polar bears. So, I mean, I jump when I'm sitting there at night watching Tipping Point and a pigeon flies into the window. Can you imagine if you're there, you know? So I'm thinking, right, okay, right. So this is kind of how they live, basically. So it just got me thinking.
They don't eat porridge to be on the safe side.
No. Oh, and there's alcohol restrictions as well.
Unless it's really hot or really cold.
So there's alcohol restrictions. Now I know it might sound, but you can only buy like 24 cans of medium strength lager a month, right? Well, a lot of people might think, oh, that's no big deal, but I don't like being told. That might even do me, but I don't like being told that's all I can buy. If I want to drink more, I want to be able to go to the shop and buy.
You're married though, right?
Yeah, but I don't get drunk and throw up all over the sofa.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
So when I started looking at all this, and joking aside, sometimes I listen to her videos and I get truly kind of anxious listening to her with the dark nights and the polar bears. So I'm just thinking, what do? You step outside your front door, you have to, it's like I'm taking the dog for a walk. I've got my phone, got my keys, got my gun, got my head torch because it's pitch black. Like photographing a shore, like birds on the shore. I saw Morton Hilmer, and he had like a wire fence for the polar bears. So I know I'm rambling, but what I want to put in, I don't want to put Svalbard in there now, but what I want to put in, anybody that has a desire to live in a dark, dangerous, cold fridge freezer, they're the people that I then want to put into room 101A.
Oh, hang on. I've got a friend that lives somewhere where it gets dark.
Get rid of him, Dave.
A period
Get rid
of
of
time.
him. Sack him off.
And he's the nicest bloke you could wish to meet.
No.
And
that's
yeah, but they have the other side of the coin, because in midsummer, the sun just kisses the horizon. So golden hour lasts 3 or 4 hours.
Dave, how could anyone live for 10 weeks without seeing the sun?
But I think if you, like, it's kind of the same as up north in Canada. So the Inuit, a lot of people that live up there have lived there all their lives for centuries,
shouldn't they?
And they have absolutely no desire to come down where I live, because they're just not used to it. They love it where they are. They love the ice, the cold, the darkness.
Have they ever been to Portugal though?
Well, they probably have, and it'd be like me. Yeah, but it's kind of like me going to say, I don't know, whenever I go down to the States. I mean, I love going down to the States, but I wouldn't want to live there. It's just no different,
Adam, can I just stop you as well? I think the correct term is Eskimo. I'm sorry if anyone was offended by the term Inuit.
No comment.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
But I mean, yeah.
I mean, I've been to Scotland and I wouldn't want to live there. I mean, Jesus, all them midgies and Scotsmen.
Ooh.
Yeah, but think of the deep fried Mars bars, Dave.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I'm on my way.
You know,
I'd live in Scotland. I'd love to live in Scotland. If I wasn't living on the island, I'd live in Scotland.
I highly recommend it. It's the best place in the world.
Yeah.
And actually, I would far much prefer to live in Svalbard and put up with 10 weeks of no light for however long, 10 weeks, than live in the middle of London or somewhere like that.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't do it. I'm fine with darkness and snow and polar bears. I can't deal with people and noise and cities.
I don't think it matters where you live, though. I mean, every area you live has its good parts and it's not so great,
I don't agree with that. Where I live hasn't got any bad parts. I would struggle to think of something that is a bad thing about living here. I really would.
No McDonald's.
We've got McDonald's.
Even the English tourists in the summer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not to do with where I live. That's people that come here. I mean, that was my room 101. Oh, shit, I've blown it for next week. Join us next week when I slag off tourists.
Well, it's the same here. I mean, with the tourists, I mean, I can't wait for September, October, when all the tourists are gone.
Well, I'm with Daz. I hate the dark. I hate dark nights. Can't stand it. I can feel myself getting miserable. Sorry. I can feel myself getting more miserable from about September onwards. I cannot stand the thought of the darkness coming in. And
should we do the pubcast in the summer then, so it's slightly more upbeat?
It's only, David, only be slightly more, to be honest. It's not. It doesn't get that much better. But yeah, I think I suffer from sad. I genuinely do, and I've been taking vitamin D spray. Yeah. I mean, Christmas. Don't talk to me about Christmas. I hate Christmas. I can't stand it.
Why?
Can't stand Christmas because it's dark. It's so dark. I don't mean Christmas itself. Christmas itself is okay.
Hey, Gary.
The time around Christmas is dark and
Gary.
miserable.
Yeah.
Where's
I'll
Jamie
send that
gone?
to you. End it now.
Yeah. So, but I'm with you, Daz. I'm with you.
No,
mate.
I mean, I'm
with you.
joking aside. I know, obviously, we've just mentioned like places like Scotland. Obviously, that does get dark, and you want to live in London, and I get all that. But that wasn't the question. It was, could you honestly live in a place like Svalbard where it is not only is it just dark, it's dangerous. Seriously, you think about the things you do, Dave. When you go down to the beach, you've got to start taking a gun with you. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that's not a. But
Adam mentioned the English tourists.
That's true.
So
that can't be a healthy way to live your life in constant darkness and in constant fear.
But those people don't live in constant fear, though. They've just been brought up that way.
No, they haven't, because none of them are indigenous.
Celia Blomdahl isn't from Svalbard.
She's Swedish.
But yes, she's Swedish, and so's her husband, and they met in the hotel. But the point being that the people that are born and raised there, it's just their way of life. And yes, they have to carry a rifle, but they very rarely discharge them. And if they do, it's just over the head to scare it off. There's no dead polar bears all over the village.
I mean, it's the same here in Churchill, Manitoba. It's the same thing. Polar bears roam the town during the summer when they're waiting for the ice in the Hudson Bay there. And that's a pretty large town. I'm not sure if people carry guns around with them, but you have to be really careful of polar bears.
Yeah,
roaming.
I mean, I've been to California and seen the bears roaming around and digging in dumpsters and all that sort of thing. They're just as dangerous as polar bears, and people, for the most part, pretty much ignore them. It's just wherever you happen to live, there's certain things you have to live with. I would quite like to live somewhere like Svalbard.
Right, so I'm outvoted by the sounds of it then.
Well, no, it's just
I don't think I'd want to live there for sure.
So we're not putting the people of Svalbard in room 101A then, obviously. It's just me and Gaz. It's just me and Gaz. We're not invited.
Rejected. That's fine. Rejected. That's fine. We'll put that on the list.
I think you should have a vote down in the comments. A vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could anybody live in Svalbard for 12 months, even if it's just for 12 months? Could you do it? Could you?
All right. Well, let's see what people say, and we'll revisit it next week.
Good
That'll
idea.
Be quite interesting.
So next we're going to talk about what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about a question that Darren J. Spooney's put in. Hello, Darren. Hope you're well.
Hi, Darren. How you doing, mate?
He said, if you were to sell your entire photography gear, what would you spend the fund on instead?
I'll go first.
So, go on then.
Well, on the basis that I'm a cheapskate and I shoot Micro Four Thirds, my photography gear would buy me approximately 6 bottles of wine.
And that'd be it. You'd spend it on that, would you?
No, actually, while I was thinking about this question, I just thought to myself, I honestly can't answer it, because there is absolutely no way I would sell my photography gear, because there's nothing else I would want to spend it on, because I enjoy photography so much that it's pretty much all I do when I'm not working. So it's very difficult. I wouldn't. I just. I can't think of a single thing that I'd go, I could spend it on that, because I got about 12 grand's worth of stuff on my insurance policy. And I sort of think, well, what would I spend 12 grand on? And the short answer is, I honestly don't know. So I'm not selling it. Thank you very much for asking.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yep. That's a good answer. Has anyone else given it any thought?
I'd probably go on a trip somewhere, use it for a trip, somewhere exotic.
But you wouldn't be able to take any pictures.
I hear Svalbard's nice at this time of year.
Yeah.
Probably get good cheap flights right now.
Yeah. You'd have to spend it on a rifle, wouldn't you?
Oh, they're cheap. You pick up a cheap rifle. It's not a problem. I think I would probably go somewhere. Not sure where, but
yeah, but when you get there, you'd be going, oh, if only I had a camera.
Well, we've always got the iPhone.
Oh, that's a whole other debate, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's for another week. That's for another week. All right, what about you, Daz? What would you spend it on?
To be honest with you, I kind of echo Dave and Adam. I've been thinking about this, and my first reaction was, right, okay, I'll treat myself to a destination that I've never visited before, perhaps like
a new house,
like Antarctica or something like that. But then I thought, it's not being able to take a picture when I go to these places. It's so I'm really sorry. I'm really boring, Daz, because I can't answer your question, but I can't think of what I would get enjoyment out of more than taking photos, and how that money would replace photography, which
you could put another wing on the house.
could put another wing on the house. Yeah.
You
Well,
could
not
employ
another
a few
wing.
more
I
foot
could build
servants.
another shed. Oh,
yeah, but I mean, your gear is worth a bit, though, isn't it? Let's be fair. Let's call a spade here.
Do you know what, Dave? It probably isn't, because I looked on MPB the other day. I was thinking about buying a right. So like I tend to sell things, and then within a few months, I tend to kind of buy the same thing back. Right. So the other day, I thought to myself, I really should buy a second body, and I thought, I wonder if I should just buy an A7R3, which is what I sold, right? And then, but the A1's on there now. You can get an A1 for like $3,500. Yeah.
Can you?
No, I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm just saying that there's
snip.
$6,500 new. So my gear isn't actually worth that much anymore. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't then, again, you wouldn't.
I can't think of anything that would give me enjoyment more than photography.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, can you edit out what I said earlier about how much mine's worth, just in case Jan watches?
Yeah.
No, that's staying in, and I'm going to tag her into the
tag
her into the promo thing on Facebook. So what about you, Stu? What would you do?
I'd spend it. Given I've got back into golf, and that was always my passion. Probably golf. I'd spend it on golf.
Okay.
And I could. This is going to be really controversial, but I probably enjoy golf more than photography. So I'd probably spend it on golf.
See, that's
how much is your gear worth? Do you reckon? Hang on, how much is your gear worth?
What, photography gear?
Yeah, roughly.
I don't know. $6-7 grand, maybe, something like that.
So you could buy Darwin Núñez from Liverpool.
Oh yeah, well I could do that as well. I wouldn't.
Sorry.
No, see, that's a good answer from Stu, because if you had another hobby that you was passionate about, then you could, you think, right, okay. But unfortunately, I don't. Apart from hiking, but I can't imagine ever hiking and not taking my camera. So,
well, see, for me, I would have gone. And if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, it would be, I'll go salmon fishing in Alaska. And, I'll go and kit myself out I'll go down to Hardy's and Pall Mall and drop, I don't know, $7 or $8 grand on kit, and then jump on a plane, fly first class to Alaska. But I don't do fishing anymore, hardly. And all I have is photography. So that is my hobby. And I guess with Stu, obviously it being a job, I can see why golf would then be the outlet for not thinking about photography.
You could sell all of your stuff to MPB and then buy back half of it.
No, you could sell it. You could sell your stuff to MPB. You could sell your stuff to MPB and then buy it all back, not half of it. You could then buy it all back. They must love me, MPB. They really must do. I must sell something to MPB, and they don't even advertise it. They just put it on the shelf with Dazza marks on it. Give him 12 months, and he'll be back. We'll just post it back to him at twice the price.
Oh, Darren, that is so funny. What about you, Sam? What would you do?
I think I'd be exactly the same as Adam, actually. In fact, I know exactly where I'd go if I was going to sell all my gear tomorrow. I reckon it would cover 2 weeks in the Seychelles and then maybe a week in Iceland, and that's probably what I would do. But if I had to use it to put towards another hobby, there's actually so earlier this summer I spent 5 days with my dad sailing on the west coast of Scotland, nice. And I absolutely loved it. And I've always grown up with sailing, and I used to sail when I was a teenager a little bit, and I've spent probably the last 10 years or so desperately trying to persuade my parents to buy a yacht, because I can't afford one and I want them to have one that I can use.
And leave to you when they die.
Exactly. And I try and sort of fuel it as it would be lovely to spend more time with you, Dad. We could bond and spend lots of time, but which would be lovely, of course. But ultimately, I want my dad to buy a boat. And if I was to sell my camera gear, it would not cover a yacht. But
Yeah, it wouldn't cover a bloody halyard.
No, exactly. It wouldn't cover the mooring fees for a year. But if I was going to take up another expensive hobby, if that's kind of a question, potentially I could see myself getting into sailing.
Okay.
I always thought I would buy a yacht when I moved to Anglesey because I sailed for many years as a youngster out of Pembrokeshire and then Cardiff. And somebody said something to me in those intervening years. I was a friend on the south coast of England, and he said owning a yacht is like standing under a cold shower ripping up £50 notes.
Yep.
And I thought, yeah, you're right. And so I moved to Anglesey and thought about buying a yacht for about 10 seconds.
Yep.
Jamie.
Well, first of all, can you actually see me and hear me before I start talking?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's interesting, this question, because we've been looking this week for an exotic holiday for our 30th anniversary celebrations for next year. And I've been looking at the price of them. And I think if I sold my gear, similar probably to what Stu was saying, I don't know, $7,000-ish, something like that, I could have 10 days in the Maldives, which is what we were looking to do. But that got me thinking, why the hell would I want to give up, the rest of my life's enjoyment in photography for 10 days of my life? Really, it's just incredible how much money that we've got wrapped into something that we can invest the rest of our life in, for something that will cost the equivalent of 10 days in the sun, which is fantastic. And we are going to go. I'm sure we're going to go because it's something we've set our heart on doing. But it's amazing how much money these things cost and how much we've got wrapped up in something that's just going to give us years and years of enjoyment. So I think the answer, Darren, is I wouldn't sell, a bit like Dave. I would keep it because I'd want to just continue the rest of my life enjoying a hobby that will last me out, rather than spending that amount of money and for a few days of enjoyment, really.
I would buy Oasis tickets. So yeah. Oh no, wait! I've already got some. No, do you know what I would do? I would sell it, and then I would spend all of the money going out in London on these new 80s and 90s discos I've found, which are, I'm not joking, brilliant.
Put
3 o'clock.
the video
they start
up
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Put that video up as well.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
yeah.
With your little day glow bracelet on.
No, I had me bracelets on, didn't I? They start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and they finish at 8 in the evening. So it's like a nightclub, but you're back home by 10. Oh my God. And it's so good. Honestly, it's so good. I've been to 3 now. I'm going to another one in November. Can't wait. It's going to be great. So yeah, I'd probably sell all my camera gear and just get pissed every other weekend. It'd be brilliant. And just dance along to Bronski Beat and Cheeky Girls. No, Cheeky Girls were probably a bit too late for it, actually. Sorry.
So what I'm missing, is it the 80s? Is it?
No, we're in 2024 now, Dad.
When you said Bronski Beat, that was the 80s, was it?
It's 80s and 90s. It's 80s and 90s. Yeah. So with a bit of 70s thrown in. So there's a bit of Queen and some what's his name?
And if
Neil
you happen to be
Diamond
Jamie, that's the 30s, the 70s, and the 2000s.
Got it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You guys would love it. Yeah, go on.
Guys, isn't there an 80s themed nightclub chain called Reflex?
Reflex, yeah.
Isn't that Reflex?
I was going to say that they used to be a thing. I wasn't sure if they were still going. Or Reflex.
Yeah, it's still going, but it's the good thing about these ones. Yeah, the good thing about these ones is I can get in there, which I could never get into the Reflex because I was too old. Now it's like these are like over 30s, and basically everyone in there is 40 plus, and it's honestly it's just like back in the 90s. It's just like going to a nightclub with a lot of older people, obviously, but the music's like amazing. It's so good, and it's just like a good laugh.
It sounds great.
Really good.
I'd be up for that.
Honestly, Sam, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
We've got the photography shows in London next year. Why don't we go?
Let's link it all up. We'll all go. Yeah. Is that a deal?
I'm up for that.
Is everyone? Yeah. Okay, I'll find one because there's one pretty much every weekend. I'll find
and where
one.
Is it? Where is it, Gal?
Excellent.
Where's this venue?
Depends. One of them I went to was in Camden. Another one was at King's Cross. There was one just off Oxford Street.
All right.
They're all over London, and they're like, and they're really popular. There's one of them that's run by Vicky McClure, who's Line of Duty.
Yep.
Her and her husband run it. I mean, I don't think they're there, but I think he's the lead singer of Reverend and the Makers, or someone from the lead singer of Reverend and the Makers is involved.
Or somebody else you've never heard of.
Yeah. Oh, Reverend and the Makers. They were all right for a couple of songs.
They were bad.
Yeah.
No idea.
But
about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't know, Jamie. It's not in your wheelhouse.
They're
mate.
not cheeky.
It's not in your wheelhouse. Yeah. Or girls. But yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. So I would literally sell all of my camera gear, and I'm considering it, by the way. And I went with some cricket mates. So a couple of guys. Oh my God! Shall I tell you a story? Oh, okay. I got. So the last but one I went to, there was me and two of my mates from cricket, and then another guy called Jeff. I mean, bear in mind, this is finished at 8:00, right? So we've all had a bit to drink. 8:00, we get in a tube, and this guy called, I know, this guy called Jeff. Suddenly he goes, "I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't feel your legs?" I can't feel my legs. And he's walking along like this, like the Elephant Man. He's like, I can't feel my legs. So we're like, stop mucking about. Anyway, so we get on the tube, and we're like, we were going to go and have a drink in Elephant Castle, but we ended up going, right, we better go home. Get to King's Cross. We're heading up the escalators at King's Cross, and he falls backwards onto some people who are like literally behind him. And his mate, who's more of his mate, but I know him from cricket, he says, "Do you think he's having a stroke?" I'm like, "We could do." I'm like, "Jeff, can you hold your arm above your head?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't do anything. I can't feel my legs. I don't know where I am. What's going on?" So we ended up having to get the staff at King's Cross Station to sit him down on a seat and then get a first aider in. Oh, what happened there?
Well, I've got balloons. What the hell?
I'm living in a parallel universe here tonight.
Oh dear.
Okay, let's just move on to another topic because
I want to know what was wrong with him.
Oh, okay. So anyway, he's passed out and he's sat on this seat like this. He's sat on the seat like this, and they're going to him, Jeff, and he's like, Jeff. And then every now and again, the woman kept saying, "I'm going to have to pinch you to give you a pain response, right? Just to make sure you're still with us." So she pinch him here, and he go, "Ow, that hurts." So she goes, "Oh, he's still with us." Anyways, like that. And in the end, like she said, "Oh, I'm going to have to call the paramedics." And all this time I'm going, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just drunk. He's perfectly fine. At the worst, he's trapped a nerve. But he's not that bad. He's just drunk, right? And he's like this the whole time like that. And the paramedics get there, and I'm like, listen, there's nothing wrong with him. Honestly, I just think he's trapped a nerve. Seriously. Anyway, so they get him in the ambulance, off to hospital. He bloody only died that evening, didn't he?
Bloody hell.
No, he didn't. He didn't die. There was nothing wrong with him. That's what I said. He was perfectly fine. He trapped a nerve, which is exactly what I said he'd done.
Oh, I tell you what, you know that my Jan's been in hospital.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry about that. I think I just broke my chair.
What did you say about car crash day?
Oh, dear.
What's going on? The chair's back here now. I think I broke my chair. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Oh. Right, Gal, whatever happens, you have to keep that in when you said he died. because that was brilliant. And then Adam falling off the chair, mate. That has got to stay in no matter what happens.
You've got to keep my balloons in as well.
Scrap the rest of the pubcast.
Yeah, the got to keep your balloons in as well.
Yeah, just cut straight to that bit. It's a surefire hit.
The rest of it's right. Okay, so finally, the last thing this evening, hopefully, watch of the week. So, I mean, Jamie, this was your idea, watch of the week. So,
it better be good.
What have you watched this week? Yeah, it better be good. Can it beat that?
I don't know. It's never going to beat Adam falling off that chair. That was going to be something that's going to go down in Pubcast history, that one. But if I'm honest, I've not watched a great deal on YouTube that's impressed me too much, apart from Adam's video when he went up to King's Peak. I thought that was pretty immense.
Very good. Very good.
Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that, to be fair. That was and just that drone footage you put at the end, I think really made you, from a scale perspective, made it look even more impressive in terms of where you are. So
thanks.
I thought that was very impressive. But in terms of anything else, I've been watching, I don't know whether you guys have seen that new BBC thing with David Mitchell, Ludwig.
Oh, okay.
Ludwig. He's he's playing a character where he's got supposedly a twin brother that's in the police force as a detective. He goes missing, and his wife asks him, who is obviously a twin, to come in and investigate why he's gone missing. But this David Mitchell's playing effectively like a puzzle. He's like king of the puzzles. Ludwig produces these puzzle books. So he's a really, really intelligent guy, really sort of lateral thinking. And essentially he's been put into a role where he's a detective, but he's not really a detective, but he has to play that role, and he ends up solving crimes. And it's like really, really good, really good. So it's on BBC at the moment, but I've watched it all on iPlayer. So that's worth watching.
Who plays the twin?
Well, funnily enough, he plays himself, Gary.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. He plays both.
He does, yeah.
So just to clarify, David Mitchell plays this intellectual behemoth, and he's not at all typecast?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit...
No, he does it really well.
Far-fetched, that.
No, honestly, it's a good watch. And the other thing that we're watching at the moment, which I think was an ex-Sky series, which is now on Netflix, is Gangs of London. Did you really watch that when it was on Sky?
Yeah, it's good.
That is really, really good. Pretty gruesome in terms of its content, but it's because we enjoyed Kin, which was sort of similar in terms of that was an Irish gang thing, but this is about a London gang thing. But yeah, that's pretty good. So we just finished the first season of that, and we're about to start the second season of Gangs of London, but can recommend that. Definitely.
Okay. Stu, what about you? Have you watched anything or listened to or there's anything that's impressed you recently that you want to share?
The best thing I've watched recently was on Apple TV. It's not a particularly new series. I think it's been out a couple of years, called Severance. I like anything that sort of makes you think a bit like Black Mirror type stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a series on Apple TV, and it's about these people who they go to work, and then they go into like an AI version of themselves for that time period when they're actually at work, and it's all to do with like sort of robots and people being controlled by AI and everything, and then they leave work and then they go back to their sort of normal human selves, and it's all to do with like. I think it's basically a bit like iRobot, the film, where eventually the AI people start to become sentient and that sort of thing, and the AI people talk to their real selves and all that. But that's really good, though.
I'm either gonna watch that or Ludwig. I can't work out.
I'm interested because, like, so far I'm writing all these down because I'm with a bunch of mates who are recommending stuff, and I want to check them out and don't want to forget anything. But I'm guessing you lot are like you. Ooh. What's the point?
Well, a lot of the shows that you guys watch, I can't get over here. So
fair enough. You've got an excuse. What about the others?
Well, I've got two.
I will definitely watch that. I'll definitely watch that. What was it called?
What?
Sentience?
No, Severance.
Severance. I'm writing it down.
It's on Apple.
Severance.
You've got Kin on Netflix, Gangs of
American.
London on Netflix, and David Mitchell Ludwig on BBC. Anything else I can help you
Severance.
with?
I'm going to put down Ludwig.
Shall I just
Honestly,
photograph
you'll
my
enjoy it,
notepad and send it across?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
No, but to be fair, in the past, Sam has recommended books to me that I absolutely loved that I'd never heard of before. So, you know.
Yeah, that involves reading, though, Dave. That involves
yeah, there
reading.
is that. But Sam and I are on a different intellectual plane.
Where's it going?
Oh, straight into a mountain.
Okay. Adam, you can't get British TV. Is there anything you watch?
Well, we
on
do
Canadian
get British TV,
like
but there's, we don't get the same shows as what you guys get. I watched Rings of Power. I thought it was absolute crap. But I've been, it's just terrible. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm powering through it. I figured, well, I've got to watch it till the end, But lately I've just been watching a lot of YouTube videos to do with local areas on the island here, mostly to do with hiking and trying to do more stuff in the backcountry. So I don't know the trails that well. So that's what I've been doing. And a lot of photography channels, but smaller channels. I've been trying to watch those, but they're hard to find, It's always the popular ones.
I'll tell you what, give us a couple of smaller channels you've been watching, because they will be so chuffed that Adam Gibbs is watching them.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's some really good ones out there, but you just don't.
No, I mean, like, tell me a couple. Give us a couple. You've watched recently. I can't
think of their names off the top of my head. I'd have to look them up. I'm not very good when it comes to names and.
So look them up and you say Adam watched it, but he's not really that memorable.
Pretty boring, actually. So I went back to the Rings of Power.
Oh dear. Well, while you're going through your history, we'll move on. We'll move on to Dave. What have you been watching, Dave?
I tell you what I've binge watched in the last couple of weeks is a Netflix series called 3 Body Problem.
I've seen that as well.
What caught my eye was bizarrely, literally the name of the show. I had no idea what it was about, but I know what the 3 body problem is. It's a principle in physics. And what I liked about the show was that it's fiction, but it combines tangible science with sci-fi. And absolutely stunning cinematography, and it's written by the 2 blokes that wrote the original Game of Thrones series that couldn't be asked with House of the Dragon, which is why it's a load of shit. Yeah, exactly.
Dave and Dave.
But given the work they did on Game of Thrones, I thought, okay, I'll give it 10 minutes, and one entire box set later, I was like, I can't wait for season 2. So 3 Body Problem, really good show.
Okay. Sam.
Yep. Well, I would echo that as well. I watched 3 Body Problem and it was good. And actually, I guess similar to that, there's another sci-fi series which I've just started watching, and I've only watched the first episode, and it was okay, but I've got it on good authority that it gets much better, and that's The Expanse, which is currently on Amazon. And the reason I was intrigued by that is I've just been reading, there's a series called Red Rising, which is a sci-fi series of books. And
I wonder who might have recommended that to you.
Reviews these kind of books on YouTube, and he said The Expanse is one of his favorite sci-fi series. He prefers it to the Red Rising series, and he said that The Expanse TV series is actually worth watching. So I'm in the middle of watching that at the moment.
Adam, have you gone through your history yet? Who are those people?
Oh no, you want me to do that right now?
Yeah.
God. Put me on the spot.
I'll put it
in the comments down below.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's a bit of a get out of jail, isn't it?
We could have a new weekly feature, which is what small YouTube channel has Adam watched this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that puts me on the spot a bit.
It's okay. You can just choose one of our
I was actually
channels each
lying.
week.
I don't want you to
know. What about you, Daz?
Well, there's two
recently?
things. One, I'm ploughing through at the moment, and that's Paw Patrol. But I'm not really kind of enjoying.
It's a kids thing, isn't it?
Paw Patrol. Yeah, it's. I think it's about.
I've just crossed that out.
Yeah, I think it's about.
Yeah. Who's your favourite in Paw Patrol? I like the fireman.
I'm struggling
dog.
with Paw Patrol. I must admit.
What's the fireman dog called?
It's not holding me. It's on, but it's not holding me. But what I would recommend is Cars. Have you seen Cars?
Right.
You see, now I've got a grandson, I'm watching all these kind of programs, and Cars I would highly recommend. But if it's YouTube, I've been watching this couple, and they're called, where's my glasses? I'm not prepared.
It's not Tony and Chelsea Northrop.
No, it's Matty and Stinner. They're a couple from Sweden. And I'm not going to try and describe their channel kind of too much, but they give a lot of.
Is it a bit
No,
risque?
not at all. It's almost kind of how to stay warm during very kind of cold
in
climates.
Svalbard.
Not in Sweden, and I'm really kind of quite enjoying their stuff actually. To be honest with you.
Does it have polar
No,
bears?
see, this is the thing. It doesn't get dark for 10 weeks of the year. There's no polar bears, so I'm cool with that. So
okay,
yeah. So Marty and Stina on YouTube or Cars
on how to stay warm.
Yeah, well they're in -30 degrees, so it's all kind of.
They just run around on the spot for like.
Is there a lot?
20 minutes?
Is there a lot of snuggling?
there's a lot of very nice kind of 70% merino wool socks.
I just figured out what I'm going to spend all my money on when I sell my camera gear now.
And
socks.
And if I'm honest with you, I've just bought a pair of boots on their review. Actually, it's sitting out there in an Amazon box at the moment.
I tell you what, talking about socks,
30.
my Jan said I need to buy some compression socks so I don't die of deep vein thrombosis.
I'll wear them
on a plane. And I went on Amazon and they're like 20 quid for a pair of socks.
Yeah. Oh,
I thought I have to sell my camera gear to buy a pair of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
Or don't go on a plane.
Can't you just buy a pair of socks that's 2 sizes too small for you and it'll do the same job?
Kids socks. Buy kids socks.
I could, yeah. I wish I had now.
Oh, talking about compression, do you know what I've bought? Can I get it? I don't know where it is. I've bought one of those. Should I tell you this? I'm not sure I should tell you.
us. You know you want to.
Well, you started there. You got to finish.
Well, you got to tell us now.
Come on, I won't sleep tonight otherwise.
He's bought a cock ring. If he comes back with a cock ring on.
Do you know what that is? Do you know what that?
That's one hell of a cock ring.
Do you know what that is? It's one of those
is
things.
That a bra?
Right? There's a reason for.
Is it
no, there's
night?
a reason for this. No, it's one of those things. Shall I put it on?
I'd rather you didn't.
Put it on.
No, you got to take your shirt off to put that on.
There's no way I'm taking my shirt off to put this on. Right, it will make sense when I put it on.
I'm not sure it will.
It's something for your moobs. For your moobs.
Yeah.
That is a bra.
Holster.
Jesus Christ.
If this doesn't stay in, I'm leaving.
Bulletproof vest.
What the?
Yeah, it's for his man boobs.
Oh, this is gold. This is gold.
Hang on.
I think you just ripped it.
Oh, look, that's shoulder.
What's
What?
Right, so I bought this. Yeah, there's a reason. Oh, I can't breathe. So I'm playing in a walking football tournament, right? And so you get given your kit, right? But this is extra large and it's too small, right? So I thought if I buy this, it's like a I can't remember what it's called, but like a corset, right? It squeezes your stomach in. So this actually fits a bit better now.
This is gold.
So that's why I bought that.
It's just a bit short of breath.
Yeah. I mean, I can't play. How can look at it?
Does anybody else in the team wear a truss?
No, because they're all thin. I'm just going away.
Jesus Christ.
It's nearly off.
Are you going to put that on in front of the other team members?
Probably put it on before he leaves home.
It's like something out of Ted Lasso.
Do we need to provide an audio description for anyone who's listening on the podcast?
You couldn't possibly.
That's never going in. That's not going in.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I've been screenshotting the whole thing, so it's going in somewhere.
I considered wearing that to my latest 80s and 90s.
God.
You'd be the one at the back of the ambulance, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I think is it my turn for things to watch? So I've got a couple of recommendations. I actually watched House of the Dragon, and House of the Dragon was okay after leaving it a little period of time after Game of Thrones.
Did you notice the local hotspots where they filmed around here?
Do you know what? I didn't, and I didn't think until afterwards. Oh my god! Because they filmed on Llanwynonna, didn't they?
They filmed there and at my local beach and up in Dinorwig.
Oh, I'll have to watch it again to see. No, if I
don't
can work
bother.
Out where
It's glimpses. I mean, what pissed me off is the BBC put a thing on the news channel: 10 spots where a House of Dragons was filmed in North Wales.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, all the bloody Instagram muppets are going to pitch up and do selfies. Ooh, don't get me started.
Yeah, next week's wins, Dave. But yeah, that was okay actually. That got better. And then I just watched something on BBC One called Night Sleeper.
Yeah, that was good.
Which I enjoyed. It was a bit formulaic, but is that the guy out
Same
of
guy
Gangs of London?
from Gangs of London? Yeah.
So I fancy watching Gangs of London because he was quite good in it.
Yeah, but within Gangs of London, he plays quite a well-spoken Londoner, and his personality or the character he's playing in Gangs of London just doesn't suit him. It suited him in Night Sleeper, but not in Gangs of London. But anyway, still watch it. It's still worth it.
And the other thing I watched on YouTube, which Dad's put me onto, and I've forgotten what her name was, but that hiker, the girl who does a lot of sleeping out and stuff. And
I watch Wild Bear all the time now.
I watched the one where she got dropped off at somewhere in the Midlands and walked back.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I thought that was excellent. That was really good. And it was also really good because I recognised loads of places she walked back through.
I'll tell you, she 24 hours and she's up to 100,000 views, near enough on every single video she puts out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also noticed as well the most watched bits as well. If you when you're looking, you can see where it jumps up. Oh, she's gone swimming.
But the thing is, it's when you're wearing a skimpy top, Gary, you can get quite a lot of views. Just saying.
I'll put that one on. I'll put that one on and just that one on next time. But that was quite enjoyable. I did enjoy that because she walked back through an awful lot of places that I played cricket at, which was.
And I've got to give her a due.
Right past where I used to live.
She wild camps in places that I wouldn't. I must admit, she's quite brave. I mean, she camps a lot in the woods. Did you see that video that she did where she kind of slept? She had it was like a bothy with no roof on it. Well, it was,
she put a tarp on it, didn't she?
She had 3 goes at doing that. 3 separate videos. And that's like fair play to her. So, I think she deserves all the views she gets. She's a brave lady. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, although I did watch one where she slept with a blow up doll.
we've all done
a sleeping sitting thing, which was very surreal. Well, yeah, which was very surreal, but it was good. So so that they are my recommendations this week. So
not as good as Paw Patrol,
and at 1 hour 52, of which probably about 25 minutes is usable. I want to say thank you very much for watching this week. It's good to have everyone back. We've had a good time, right? We've had some laughs, haven't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're not going to be shared with you folks in the edit, but they were great. They were really funny. Unfortunately, the bits you're going to see are all really serious to do with death camps.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. We'll just
and
put
I have
that
to
one
say
bit in.
that this beer that I bought, this honeydew organic golden owl, that is really nice. I really recommend that. I didn't think I was going to enjoy that.
It's like, what's it called?
I'm getting worse. My eyes are getting worse. Seriously, I used to laugh at people when they used to do that. Now, like I'm at arm's length.
My eyes are so bad now that I can't read the little Monopoly things you get on the McDonald's to see if you've won or not. And that's a bad day. I tell you, that is a bad day. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this week. And obviously we're back now. We're back for a couple of weeks, and then we've got a couple of weeks off because there's low availability. But we're back. Adam, you're not about too much, so are you?
Well, I got some work.
Disappearing
I got workshops
for a little
coming
while
up in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So make the most of him while he's here. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this week. And has anyone got anything else to add before we go? No? All right then. See you later.
See you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 That was good.
Am I here, by the way?